So navigation menus are huge in Bootstrap. And the nav class all by itself creates a pretty simple horizontal menu by default. But there's a lot of classes that you can add to get, different types of menu styles. So your nav tag ends up being a container, and then your unordered list should include nav, a class of nav, and then the lines are nav items, and the links itself, your anchors, are nav links. And so this is how it would look. And here's an actual code example. And you'll notice that you certainly can add code to make your text look different color, different size. You can add padding, all of that kind of thing. Okay, and so this is that example live. And for a vertical menu, it's kind of the same thing, but you're going to add an additional class to the UL tag of flex column. So we still have our container, okay, and then we have nav, and we've got flex column. Okay, and then for the allies, you still are using nav item, and for the anchors, it's nav link. And so this is how it looks live. And again, if you didn't want it to span the page, you would put it in a column. You'd have to use that grid layout. If you want to create more tabs, which is kind of what this does, okay, you can use the nav tabs class. And again, that would go in the same element where you have nav. So in this example, we're putting it in UL. We also have nav bar, and this is what MVC utilizes. Okay, we have a nav bar. Here's a very simple navigation bar because you can use it pretty much with anything. So this navigation bar I created using this code. Okay, but it's very similar to what you saw with just nav. We have nav items and nav links, but for our UL tag, now we're using nav bar dash nav. And then in the navigation class, we have a nav bar. And then we've got nav bar expand SM, and SM is the size. I mean, we could do medium, large, extra large for our size as well. The nav bar expand SM, the one with the expand, is what gives us a responsive collapsing class. Okay, so that's what makes it responsive. If you do not want a horizontal bar, you can remove navbar expand. So if you use navbar just by itself, it will be a vertical. Navbar expand makes it horizontal and adds in that responsive aspect. Okay, so here's another example, and this is that code live. To display the hamburger when it is collapsed, and the hamburger is, I don't know if this is big enough. Oh yeah, detective agency. I might not have specified the hamburger in this one. Nope, I didn't. So ideally, when it collapses, you'll have the hamburger display over on the right. And that one is not doing it. But let's take a look at the code that creates that little hamburger. So it is a navbar toggler class. And you'll notice that the data target is collapsible navbar. And this connects the command to the section in your page that should collapse. Okay, so the section that you need to collapse, you'll notice that we have an ID of collapsible navbar, and that is connected. Here inside the button, we have navbar toggler, so you can kind of collapse it, open and close it. This is the hamburger itself. You can open and close it to show or hide the menu. And by default, this is an MVC default page. Now, looking at this code, that is the code I have in this page. So I think this does collapse. So let's go into the emulator. So I don't think resizing is going to get us there. So if I press F12 and turn on this little emulator, here is the hamburger that I was talking about. So it opens and closes. And then I can go to any of these pages. Okay, so that's the emulator. It's in the developer panel. Okay, so it is working properly. And this is from the detective agency, and you can see that we've got the navbar toggler. It's a button, and it is going to collapse or display the navigation items. And by default, it's going to be collapsed. Here's our little class to show the icon. And all of that is connected to this code here. Okay, so our menu basically displays or it's hidden. Now you might have also noticed there's some ARIA code in here. Okay, and you may see it kind of sprinkled throughout. And basically it is a class for accessibility. It's automatically added to your MVC app, so you really don't need to worry about it. But if you wanted to know more about it, I did include a link.